sense. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put these on either side. Okay. Now when I roll this with a rolling pin, I'm gonna make sure the rolling pin hits the top of the rulers on both sides. So this clay can't go any thinner than these rulers. And y'all bear with me, this is hard to do on a wiggly cart, but I want to make it where everybody can see so everybody understands. Sometimes when you're rolling, you'll get little, like, you know, uneven bumps. If that happens, just flip it to the other side. You know, you may need to do that a few times. That's okay. I can't put all my strength into this because it's shaking the cart. Okay, so let's see, it's kind of like a little speed bump right there. So again, flip it over. And I'm just going to keep rolling this until, I guess I should put on the brakes. I can't go past the top of those rollers. And you need to make sure that the whole thing is like that. Again, easier to do on a stationary table, but yeah, it's whatever. You guys see what I mean though? This can't go beyond that depth. So this is gonna give me about a 1/4 inch thick slab, which is what I need. So I'm gonna set these aside. And now I'm gonna cut out the base. So what I'm gonna do is take this, and you can do something like use a cookie cutter that's round. You can even do like the spray bottle, trace around it if you want to. Basically just something round to give you the shape you need. Instead of trying to draw a perfect circle, I mean, why make it hard? So I'm just gonna use this. And I know it looks kind of small, but we don't want this to get gigantic, so. It's got a little ruffled edge, but I'm gonna blend it so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so here's my base. I'm just gonna carefully peel it up, and you can see the thickness. So about a pinky thickness, which is about a 1/4 inch thick. You'll find that a 1/4 inch is usually what we're kind of going for most of these projects. So now I've got my banding wheel. I'm gonna set it up here. Now notice I put a little piece of paper here. The reason why is because the slab mat is bigger. And if I'm trying to turn this and work with it and the slab mat's like hanging way off, sometimes you bump it, knock the whole thing off. It's just easier to put a little paper, but this keeps it from sticking. Oh, and I almost forgot. I should have done this before I cut it out. That's okay though. I'm just gonna take this rib and scrape over it on both sides, because not only is this going to smooth it out, but this is compressing the clay molecules together so that it's gonna be stronger and less likely to crack. Because the last thing you want is for your pot to have a big crack in the bottom. Okay, so easy to do. All right, now that I've got that, I'm going to make a coil. And you guys know how to do this, but we're gonna make these a little bit thicker. And the reason why is because we are blending on the inside and the outside. So we need to make it a little bit thicker than what we've worked with in the past. So just like I've done before, kind of just squeezing this into sort of a sausage shape. Oops. Move this out of the way. Okay. And then I'm going to push down, put a little pressure, make sure that it is making a 360-degree revolution, or you'll end up with a really flat coil. So pretty rounded. But if you do start getting a flat coil, don't forget, you can just twist it a little bit. And I would definitely recommend using really plastic clay. This is a little drier, but I feel like I can work with it. Okay, so I'm gonna roll it out, and I don't wanna make it any thinner than my thumb, probably. So this is a little different. We're working with a little bit bigger coils, but again, we're blending both parts. I'm just gonna break this off because it's getting a little bit too big. Okay. Make sure it's even. All right, that's pretty decent. Okay, so I'm gonna get my base now. Put it back up here. Oops, I keep knocking this over. All right, now what I'm gonna do, the first coil you want to score and slip down. And that's really important because I can't tell you how many times in the past somebody has made a coil pot and they did not attach the first coil good and the bottom just falls off. And that sucks. So I'm just using the serrated rib because it's quick and easy. And then I'm also going to score this. Okay. And then I'm actually gonna spray this with a little bit of, never mind, this thing didn't work last time. I'll just use the slip. Okay, so what I'll do, I'm gonna put the slip on the base instead of trying to put it on this coil and then handle it. It'll be easier. So it's better to put more slip than you think you need than not enough, because you can always wipe off the excess. Okay, so I got the slip on there. Now I'm gonna put my quill on here. So it's gonna be longer than what I need, and I'm gonna show you how to make it look neat if that's the case. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is where it overlaps here, I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna put those one over the other, and then I'm just gonna cut it kind of at an angle. And what this is gonna do is create a beveled edge, and that just means it is cut at a 45-degree angle. And that way, when I go to put them together, they butt up to each other neatly. See that? So that is a way to make it a lot neater. Okay, so I got this on here now. I can just kind of blend that together with my fingers. Now this is really important too. You want to blend this coil down to the base. So I'm using the wooden tool, and see how I can just kind of press it down, sort of like we did with the trivets, just kind of roughly at first. Okay, so it's rough, but it's on there good, and then I'm gonna smooth it down. And see how I can just rotate it on this wheel and it makes it easier. Okay, so make sure it's on there good so it doesn't come off. And now the next thing I'm gonna do is blend it to the outside. So again, I can use my thumb or I can use the wooden tool. Whatever works for you is fine, just so it's on there good. And I'm just gonna do kind of a rough blend to begin with. And I know it's almost lunchtime, hang in there. And again, this is just gonna help keep the bottom from falling off. Okay, so then what I can do is get my smooth rib and kind of scrape over it. So I blended it kind of roughly at first, but now I'm gonna go back and like refine it and make it look better. And don't forget to clean off the rib as you go, because if you don't, you might end up with clay crumbs that just get smashed back into the clay. Somebody grab that for me, please. If it rings again, I don't know. It may not ring again. Okay, thanks though. Okay, so right now it doesn't look like much, but this is just the base of it, and I'm gonna continue to kind of smooth it out as I go and make it look good. All right, so blended. Now this is important. You don't want to stack up a whole bunch of coils and then go back and blend it, because what's happening is those are gonna be exposed to air as you do this, and they're gonna dry out, and then it's gonna be difficult to blend. Plus, once it gets tall, it's harder to get your hand down in there or the tool. So if you do it one at a time, it's much better in the long run. All right, so now that I got that on there, I'm gonna use what's left of this coil. I just need to thin out one end of it. And I'm gonna blend this to the next one. Now notice how thick this is now. Now that I blended both sides, I've got that pinky thickness that I need. Started off with it being about a thumb, now it's about a pinky. Okay, we don't want these walls to be really thick, but we also don't want them to be very thin. They need to be just right so that they can support the weight. Okay, so I'm gonna take this coil. I might actually like flatten it just a little bit, because this is gonna give me some height. And I am, you know, making it bigger than we did on the last project. Smooth it out a little bit. Okay, so I've kind of flattened it, but see, when I put it on here now, it's still thick enough for me to blend, but now it's gonna be taller. This is gonna move a little bit faster. Okay, so now if you're using fresh clay, you can just go ahead and put it on here. Okay, if I wanna go straight up, I'm just gonna cut this off and make it go right on top of the other one. But if I want this to go ahead and start curving outward, let's say I'm gonna do a vase, instead of putting it directly on top of this one, what I'm gonna do is shift it to that outer edge. So see, kind of like this. Can you guys see that up there, how it's shifted to the outer edge? Now, if I'm going inward, what I'm gonna do instead is place it along the inner edge. Kind of hard to see, but see? And that's gonna control that shape. Okay, so I think I'll go out just a little bit, not a lot. We will continue after lunch. I'm gonna go ahead and blend this on here so you'll see what it looks like when you come back. just randomly quit working. Yeah. Well, I just said I'm going to go ahead and continue it so you'll see what it looks like when y'all come back.
Do a little tune-up to fix it, but there you go.
Oh, cute.
I'm gonna add a full now.
Okay.
I already cleaned out the insides.
Good deal, good deal. Sorry, just trying to get this done before it dries.
I'm just questioning where this black came from.
I think I glazed it right now. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
interrupt.
I mean, did you do about 3 coats roughly, or?
Yeah, it's very thick, so it was hard to tell.
Yeah, it should be fine then.
Someone probably had paint on some of the clay in this.
Could be. Sadly. Or if it was on one of the banding wheels, it could have got mixed in that way. Because people keep leaving paint and glaze on the banding wheel, which they're not supposed to, but they don't listen.
Clay, when it's fired, it'll just go away or something.
Yeah, if it's clay, I mean paint, it will.
I might add hands like that.
Oh yeah.
Like tiny little nut hands.
Did you get anything else out of that thing? Or no?
Do what now?
Anything about what's it called?
Kiln?
Kiln.
It depends on the temperature. I have to look and see what it's at now. I just can't take anything out until it gets at least about 300 degrees, because if it cools too fast, it'll break. I don't want that to happen, so
I just don't know if you were pulling it now or like you did it like last night.
Oh no, I have it propped open, so it's like cooling down. So I'll check it in a little bit.
Because I was wondering where mine was. I was like, maybe
Probably
she
in
already
there.
did it then.
Yeah, it's probably in there if you don't see it anywhere.
Yeah, I just figured that since I didn't see mine on the table.
No, yours is on the table.
I didn't see it.
It's on there somewhere. I saw it earlier today.
I'll go check.
Okay, I was gonna say, I know I saw it. They better not.
I gotta leave it with you to breathe, but I like how it turned out.
Good. Yeah, just set it on my desk and I'll get it.
I'll give it to my aunt. I have 2 aunts actually.